Hey guys, in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at the X100f and more specifically the WCL converter and the TCL converter. It is summertime here in southern Utah, and what that means is, well, it means a lot of things for our family. One thing it means is craziness because kids are going to be home all day. And what that means for us is camping, and lots of it, because we like to camp. So we're just getting ready now, we're getting packed up, and we're gonna head to Escalante National Park. So for this trip, I'm taking along, as I mentioned, the X100f with that TCL and that WCL converter. As many of you know, I sold off my X100 ST, whatever, a while ago, because I don't really love the 35mm form factor. I do love the X100 series, just not 35 millimeters. When I said that in one of my videos, a lot of people said, hey, why don't you give that TCL and that WCL a try and see if you like them? I'd always sort of just discounted those. I kind of figured, well, they'd probably reduce the quality. They certainly reduce the light intake of the camera. And so I'd never really given them a chance. So in all fairness, I thought I would. This time we're gonna give it a try. I love the 50mm equivalent focal length. I like 28mm equivalent focal length. Prefer 24, but 28's not bad. So we're gonna give those two focal lengths a try this trip. I might do some at the 35mm equivalent focal length, but mostly I'll stick with those two adapters because I want to give you a little bit of a review and my thoughts. So that will be the purpose of this episode. I hope you enjoy it. Like all of our episodes, probably won't be short because it's as much about the experience and the photography as it is about the gear. So I hope you come along for that adventure, and here we go. As is often the case, we are indebted to our friends over at Fuji Pro Rentals North America for letting us borrow these adapters and the X100f to play with for this photo adventure. So thanks guys. You can find a link to them in the description below. We're about to go to the Petrified Forest. It's a little loop by our campsite. We're camping here at the Petrified Forest in Escalante. And it's approaching midday, so the light's not gonna be great. I'll post some photos, but mostly this is a scouting mission for me to see if there's anything that will be worth coming back up here to photograph at sunset. So, yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, I've tried this a million times. Oh no. To get this off my mind. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I feel real low. Oh no. Oh, memories. So sweet. Let's just find a place under the stars. Oh, memories.
So I was worried that by attaching these adapters, focusing speeds might be negatively affected on the X100. So with the help of my dog, I took a bit of time to do this not super scientific focus test. Here you can see testing with the Bear X100f. And here it is with the TCL converter attached. While it is slightly slower focusing with this converter, I think that's largely because of the differences between the subjects. It's exacerbated with that telephoto lens over that Bear lens. Otherwise, focusing seems fairly snappy. That theory is supported by how much more quickly focusing happens here with the WCL lens attached. Nothing to complain about here at all. Alright, well, it's almost sunset. It's very cloudy. So I'm gonna hike back up to the top of that plateau there where the Petrified Forest begins. I might get a cool sunset. So I'm with the X100F. I didn't really want to bother with the tripod. It's not really the camera you put on a tripod and get landscape shots with. This isn't the type of photography you do with that camera. I understand that, but it's a camera I have. And this is about the best conditions I've had so far on the trip, so I want to take advantage of it. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully the light does something interesting as I make my way to the top of this plateau to where the petrified forest begins. I really like this tree right here. This dead tree with the sunset back there, those pretty clouds. I'm gonna try to shoot this with the wide angle adapter, see how it goes. But I think I'll be able to get a good shot of this tree. It's really pretty.
Oh no. Yeah, I tried this a million times. Oh no. To get this off my mind. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I feel real low. Oh no. I'm not gonna lie. Oh no. Yeah.
All right, well, I think I have one last shot. The light's not amazing. It's a little dramatic there, but it's kind of in the blue hour now. I got one last shot here with this kind of bush thing that I don't hate. But that's about it.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's all I'm gonna eke out of this scene here tonight. So that's it, time to head back to camp. But as we head back, I do want to say a couple things about my experience with the X100F so far. The first thing I want to say is there's one thing about it that I thought I wouldn't like, but I haven't hated it. I don't dislike it. In fact, sometimes I kind of like it, and that is switching out those adapters. So last couple weeks I've been on 2 hikes and I've kept that teleconverter lens on there most of the time, almost exclusively, because I just have been enjoying 50mm so much lately. So here's what I like about that system. I've got the 50mm on there. I'm just going about my business shooting. It's fun, it's enjoyable, but every once in a while I need that wide shot. And so when that happens, I can just unscrew that teleconverter lens and have that default lens there on the X100F and get my wide shot without having to put another lens back on. So for me that works. I can unscrew that 50mm, that telephoto converter lens, and get my wide shot and not have to fuss with 2 lenses. I can put that teleconverter back on again and I'm good to go. Then every once in a while, in that great once in a while, when I need just a little bit more wide angle, I can stick on that 18mm, that WCL converter, and get my super wide angle shot, and I'm good to go. So I like that about this whole setup. The real question for me then is, would it be better to shoot with the XA3 with the 35mm or the 50mm f2 lens? Would that be a better experience? And would I get better quality photos than just shooting with the X100F with that TCL lens on there most of the time? I can already tell you one thing that I prefer about the XA3 and that 35mm, or the XT20 and that 35mm lens, and that is the size. It's a lot smaller than that TCL lens. Sticking that on that X100F, it adds a lot of size, a lot of bulk, a lot of weight. So is the convenience of being able to pull a lens off or on, vice versa, as opposed to switching out 2 lenses back and forth, is that worth the extra size? Okay guys, a lot of people have told me that these conversion lenses were amazing and that the image quality of the X100f does not suffer when they're attached. I was really skeptical of that. I sort of felt like these adapters were a bit kludgy, but I tried to go into these last 3 weeks of shooting with it with an open mind. So I always hesitate to be critical of gear because when people have spent their hard-earned cash on gear, they really want to hear validating opinions and not criticism. But my general conclusion is that these conversion lenses do not substitute for regular Fuji lenses at equivalent focal lengths. For instance, this 35 f2 is incredible. Wide open, it's amazingly sharp. I don't notice any chromatic aberration. It's just a solid lens, even for professional work. Whereas the TCL conversion lens introduces a very soft image wide open and noticeable chromatic aberration, and a lot more anyway than what I was hoping to see. Beyond that, it's just so big, it sort of ruins the experience and that special feeling of shooting with this just oh so beautiful X100f body. As far as the WCL, I just don't feel like a slightly wider 18mm focal length justifies the image quality hit you take over the default 23mm lens. If it was 16mm, yeah, maybe, but as it stands, I rarely felt like I had a need to bust out this WCL. So having said all that, who is it for? If you're someone who enjoys shooting at 23mm or that 35mm focal length for travel, street photography, or whatever, and you're attracted to the size, the looks, and the experience of shooting with this beautiful camera, I would heartily recommend buying it, and also picking up the TCL for the occasions where you need a bit more reach in your shots. But if you're like me and you prefer 50mm equivalent focal length, and if you plan on shooting professionally, semi-professionally, or if you are an enthusiast who cares a great deal about optimal image quality, the TCL adapter is not going to be an adequate substitution for a solid 50mm or equivalents thereabout Fuji lens like this 35mm f2 again. Well, that's it guys, those are my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this yet another photo adventure. Remember, kindness before cameras. We'll talk to you again real soon.